Um, Not really in a great mood, but I wanted to talk about my game, I guess. Um, this time, basic premise kind of stuff. Um, I wanted to feel similar to like the Infamous games, I guess, except like more stylish. Like I feel like the Infamous games, I don't know, they're not stylish, but like they don't really have that spirit of style baked in, I feel. It's like it's kind of like I feel like the creative style of the people who made it was like injected in, but not necessarily like I don't think that it had that spirit from the ground all the way up. You know what I mean? Like it's too I feel like it's too interested in being realistic. Um and so there's kind of like a few things that I want to be the case. I want so number one, hmm, I want I want to do interesting work with colors. I want to see if I can do something where it's like uh when you're a given character, you have your signature colors, and then like no matter what character you are, the world around you does not have your signature colors. And then maybe it's like a thing of like whenever you team up with somebody, like they'll get a touch of your signature colors. You'll get a touch of theirs or something. That could be cool. Um, so I want to have color work be very important to the design of this game. I want each character that you play as to feel like the main character. Like I want them all to be fleshed out enough in terms of systems and in terms of story, um, that two people can play the game and then like disagree about who the main character of the game is, even though there's going to be a character that represents me in the game. Like one of the things that I want to do with this game is like ooh, is highlight uh how we're all the main character of our own lives. I want to highlight how we all have unique and individual strengths, even if some of us like even though we fit into archetypes as well, we are still unique within those archetypes. um I want everybody to have cool powers. um at its core, like I want it to be a thing where like I want it to be a game where you run around and fight people. Like at the core of the game, run around, fight people, be stylish, right? Whether that style comes in the form of movement combos, like just doing movement tricks, like that's sick. Like you like skate games, you like steep. I like steep. Um, Like those games are literally just about moving in a cool way, right? So I want to have that spirit, but I also want to have like stylish combat, the spirit of stylish combat, like being able to like Devil May Cry style meter type energy. You see what I'm saying? Um, but I don't. But like, I want it to be a challenge to like in Devil May Cry. It never really clicked with me because it's like once you get the and same thing is true for Bayonetta. It's like once you get the launcher, once you get the enemy in your combo, then it's like they're just in your combo. They're not doing anything anymore, and like that's boring, right? Um, I think that there is a place in my game for combos that kind of immobilize or like debuff your enemies while they're happening. Um, but like the style comes from how you interact with the enemies. Like the style comes from like how much risk do you take? How can you combine your movement and your abilities to dispatch people in interesting ways? And like basically in my head I'm thinking in order for like in order for the game to be release worthy, literally it just has to like I have to have this ability for players to be stylish in all that they do, interesting interesting player and enemy systems, cool environments. And I want the environments to to be kind of tailored around the character that you're playing as. Like the thing is, you know, you can't just throw you can't just throw any old piece into like a tactical environment, right? Like in chess, certain spaces are better for certain pieces because they just allow for they just are they literally just are better for certain pieces. Full stop, right? Um, and so I want to be able to like it's nice to have certain like levels, well just levels that are designed for multiple or all of the playable characters, but I think it's also going to be important to have levels that are designed for like to have at least like two or three levels like per character that are like just for that character. Do you see what I'm saying? Um, I want it to have an arcade kind of feel, like you're. It's literally about playing it for the love of the game. Like into in in terms of just releasing the game, I don't think I necessarily need like super robust like progression systems. Because like it's really just about getting in and having fun with it. And so I think in order to facilitate that, like, or I think the thing that facilitates that at the most foundational level probably will end up being the control scheme that I talked about, where it's like in terms of basic functions, you've got everything that you need mapped out to individual buttons. Like there's nothing that you have to combine button combinations for. And I think like it's the kind of thing where probably like you get more points for being more stylish. You get more points for hitting like for hitting movement tricks um uh for like hitting cool combat tricks. Um and that's something that I'm probably gonna have to like develop on even after release because I know that I know that people are going to be able to come up with cool movement tech and cool combat tech that probably is not like already coded to give you more like points multipliers. You see what I'm saying? Like it's there's probably gonna be a situation, assuming my game gets like popular enough. It's probably gonna be a situation in which uh, stylish things are discovered that are not coded in, like they're not coded as stylish yet. So I'm probably gonna have to update for that. But that's fine. Like I feel like, ugh, ugh, I feel like the players deserve that. I also feel like, oh, I also feel like, um, I need to have. Well, I should have a system, like a style system that is open enough that people can kind of make up their own tricks within the constraints of the system and be rewarded without me having to necessarily like see the trick in like in advance. You see, what I'm like or imagine the trick in advance, right? Um, what other like basic systems are needed? Movement systems kind of already talked about. I think the speed button might end up having three functions, like a hold for parkour, a tap for like a dash of some kind, and then a double tap for speed. And I think I think if we've got tap for dash, double tap for speed, hold for uh parkour, like I think that makes some sense. Um like there's a dash cooldown. Like if there's a dash cooldown, which I think makes sense, right? Then that means I can give the dash like more defensive properties, and then that also gives a very clear window of like uh if you tap the speed button again while your dash is on cooldown, then you'll go into sprint or whatever, right? I gotta like I'm gonna have to really work hard on enemy design. I think. Um, I think the enemies in this game like they're gonna have to be like genuinely like the opposite of main characters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to like I'm trying to think of like how I can represent the fact that the people who oppose you, the people who oppose you are anti individuality, anti self expression, but like they are still individuals who on some level cannot help but express themselves. You know what I mean? Obviously, like, you know, you just give enemies different like classes basically, and like, you know, now you've got a little bit of that, but like that's not really like enough. And I think it might just be a situation where I have to have a bunch of different like enemy designs per class, right? So like in a lot of games, right, your grunt type enemy, like your lowest tier of enemy, has like one design, right? See Destiny Thrall or Shanks or Dregs or Vex Goblins. See Infamous with the DUP. Actually, just see Infamous in general. Um, like I could go on, right? Um, um, I think. Um, I think higher tier enemies. I think higher tier enemies are gonna have less like individualized design choices, but probably more color. Like like the higher tier an enemy is, the more specialized it probably is, right? And the more specialized it is, that means the more it's tailored to countering a particular like character's kind of strengths, right? And so it could just have like opposite color choices as the character that it counters the most, right? So like if you got a sniper type boss and like it's a boss fight of like mostly movement, uh, then it would have opposite colors or maybe complementary colors, I guess, to whoever is like the brawler. You see what I'm saying? Um, just that kind of thing. Like I want like I'm kind of getting like Jet Set Radio vibes from this, where it's like you got the police like trying to fucking beat you up and or kill you because you're because you're putting your art in the city, right? Um, I I think I could from here kind of get into like designing some basic character kits, like outlining some um like gameplay archetypes here, but like I don't really want to do that right now. I'm really hungry. And my brain is a little bit fried. Like I didn't fuel my brain up very well for this. You see how last time I had a fucking I had big juice Um, this time I have nothing, right? So um, I think that's gonna be it for this time. Um, yeah, maybe next time I'll think about gameplay archetypes or like combat archetypes. Maybe I'll think about some movement archetypes. Yeah, like I think that that's going to be really important. Is like being able to have different characters move differently, right? Because the way that they move is also like they don't want to necessarily move the same, right? A sniper doesn't want to move the same as a brawler. They got different places that they want to be at, so they would want to be able to get to those places much more efficiently, right? um, so movement and combat archetypes. Um, I guess are next, probably. Okay. I'm Tausel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Um, sometimes you have to do things for yourself, even though you feel like shit, even though you're tired, even though you don't feel good about what you're doing. Sometimes you just gotta pull up rocking anyways. Kind of sucks. It kind of sucks, but like it's worth it. That's the nature of arts. It's the nature of life. You know. Sometimes, sometimes you're trying to do a movement trick and there's people shooting at you. Sometimes you're grinding on a rail and you jump off and you're trying to land somewhere and somebody blows it up before you land. Now you got to figure out how to keep the style. You see what I'm saying? Is this metaphor working for you? It better. Um, yeah. I guess that's it. Um, do I plug my TikTok here? I'm not putting. I don't feel like putting that link in the description. I really don't. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna bother. Um, yeah. Thanks for watching. Leave comments if you have any interesting thoughts. Yeah.